Hey guys, it's Chris. Welcome back to the channel. If you saw one of my last videos, Garmin R10 versus SkyTrack back in my garage, you might have noticed when I was hitting driver, I took maybe 5 driver swings and broke a couple tees. I just used regular golf tees, plastic or wooden, and I seem to break them all the time, lose them in my garage. I played a little bit around after that video on the same night, and I took another couple swings and I broke another couple tees. Finding tees that work in a golf simulator that you're not going to lose in your garage or break all the time, that's important. There's one kind of tee that you've probably seen. They're called Birtees, and I'm not sure if these are exactly them, but they're almost like little kind of badminton birdies, you know, the bottom half of a badminton birdie. And they work pretty well, but there's a couple problems with them. The first one, as you can see, you put the ball on top of the cone here, and when you come into it, you hit the cone before you hit the ball. I think it's imperceptible, but it bothers me because that's not what you do in real golf. You hit the ball before the tee in real golf. So that's thing number one. Thing number two, these are expensive and they break pretty frequently. I've heard reports that, you know, people, you don't get a whole ton of rounds out of them before they break, and then you gotta buy a new one, and a set of them is like 60 bucks or something on Amazon. So there's a different set of tees from K2 Golf that I've been really curious about. Joe Legowski on his channel did a review of them. I reached out to Kevin asking if he would mind sending me a couple samples that I could do a video on my channel here, and he sent me the whole range of tees. So thank you so much, Kevin, just super generous, and I'm really excited to try these out. They're called K2 Golf tees. They come with, this is kind of the situation. They come with a little sandbag that tethers with a bungee cord that also comes with the tees to a tee. And you can see this tee, it's 2 parts. The shaft part actually moves up and down a little bit, about 1/4 of an inch, so you can go up or down a bit. And like I said, it's 2 parts, so the shaft is independent from this little conical base that's down at the bottom. So if you break the shaft or the base, you can just buy that spare repair part. You don't need to buy a whole new tee. And Kevin on his website has made it really affordable to just buy, you know, those replacement parts if you need to. He has just redesigned these tees so that this tether point, which is the point that apparently had been breaking on the original tees, is now twice as thick. It's double the thickness, so they should break less. You know, some of these things, when you buy stuff like that, there's some built-in obsolescence. Companies want you to break them eventually, so you have to buy a whole new set. That's not Kevin's deal. That's not what K2 Golf is about. He wants you to buy it one time and be satisfied with it, and if you need replacements, to be able to get replacements for not an arm and a leg. So that's how these work. The tees are tethered to the sandbag. The sandbag goes kind of right in front of you, and then when you hit, of course, the tee just goes a little ways because it's on a bungee. So you're not going to lose them. You're not really going to break them, maybe very infrequently. And when you do break them, there are replacement parts available for cheap. So this solution seems like it solves a lot of my problems with golf tees in your simulator. Breaking them, losing them, hitting them, God knows where in the garage. So I'm excited to try these out today. I'm going to be testing out these tees. I've got, you know, the really little one here, which is a number 1. That's just like a par 3 iron kind of tee. I've got number 8 hooked up right now, which is what I'm going to use for my driver. And then I'm going to hook up number 2 as well, which is for like a 3-wood or a hybrid off the tee. So I'm going to hook those up to this sandbag. In the kit that Kevin sends, if you purchase the full kit, you get 1 each of the tees, number 1 through 8, as well as a sandbag and the bungee and the little connector piece to connect to the bungee. So it's a pretty great deal. If you're a member of a Simulator Golf Tour, he's also got a coupon out there to get some money off. My interactions with Kevin have been nothing but positive. What a great guy, what a cool product. He just built these himself, and once people started getting interest, he went to an injection molding company down the street from him, it sounded like, to put these together. So they're made in America, designed in America. It's a true small business. Kevin packed my tees the day before he left for the PGA show. Again, can't say enough. Thanks so much, Kevin, K2 Golf. I'm super excited to test out these tees. I'll finish getting these all set up on my sandbag here, and then we'll start playing. All right, let's do it. All right, so the hardest part here of this that I found is just getting, I'll try and get up closer to the camera so you can see this. So this piece, this metal piece here, is a piece that connects to, it connects the bungee to the sandbag. This piece here is the tee, obviously, and so you can see the bungee connects, there's a couple little slits here, the bungee connects into this connector piece. So we now need to get these two things stitched together. And the way that you do that is there's this little small eyelet, and you've got to get the loop, the one end of the bungee loop through this eyelet. And it's not difficult, it's just kind of tricky. It took me a little while to get the number 8 tee going. There we go. All right, so it's through. So I pulled it through here, and then you just take, oh, I probably did this in the wrong order. Well, you'll see how easy this is to do. I'll show you this part as well. So I've got to take the loop out of, the bungee out of the loop of the tee. This loop goes through this other loop, like this, and you just cinch it tight. And there you have it. So this bungee is now connected to the metal piece that connects to the sandbag. I'm now going to put the loop over the tee, and you can see this just has a little slit in it that you tug the bungee through. There, I've got one end through. Hopefully you can see this, I can't really tell. There, I've got the other end through. So now I've got my bungee attached. It's attached to this metal piece. I'm going to attach the metal piece to this part of the sandbag. So the metal clip comes off. We attach it here to the sandbag. The metal clip goes back on. I promise you it's easier than I'm making it look. I'm having some technical difficulties here for no reason other than my own incompetence, truthfully. There we go. Okay, see, so now I've got these two tees attached to the sandbag. I'm gonna do the one more tee, which is like the 3-wood kind of tee, and then we're gonna play. All right, so again, the bungee through the eyelet. This is the hardest part. And look at that, look how easy it was. That's the hardest part. Okay, bungee through the eyelet. The rest of the loop through itself. Get your finger out of the way. Tighten it up. Okay, so that's on. Let's get it onto our sandbag here. So we unclip. Here's how this works. You have to unclip the metal piece, hook it onto the sandbag like so, clip it back on. Ooh. I'm sure there's a better way to do this than the way that I'm doing it, but we'll get there in the end. Yep, there we go. Okay, now we just need to clip the tee on, like we saw earlier. Loop over this, the tether point. The tether point has some slits in it. What a brilliant design this is. This is just so... Someone in the community saw a need and they made it for themselves, and then everybody else realized that it was a great solution. So now he's got a little business with these tees, and like I said, they're affordable. They are about as expensive as one set of those Birtees, but you're going to be able to use these for a lot longer. And if they break, you can just buy the replacement parts for cheap. Okay, I've got everything set up now. K2 Golf sandbag, the tethers. With the kit, you do get 6 tethers and 6 bungees, so you can have up to 6 tees at once on this sandbag. And I mean, if you want to buy extra bungees, you can have a whole set of tees. I'm going to be using these tees, so I'm going to be doing a more long-term review of the system. And but I'm excited about it. So here we go. Let's play. Uh-oh. Right in the left trees, I guess, is what you want to do. Alright, got my number 8 tee out again. I'm going to hit a cut. So this time I want, you want the little tether point to be kind of aligned with the way your swing direction is going to be. So if you're hitting it straight, you want it to just be straight in front of you. I'm hitting a cut, so I've got it turned a little to the left because I want to try and cut it over the trees. Good drive. And my tee's right here. Just, Kevin, you've done something wonderful. All right, we have 218 left. Hey everybody, we're back in my basement here. I played 9 holes of the golf barn. Since then I've played a good number of rounds, 3, 4, 5, 6 rounds in my garage simulator on GS Pro using these K2 golf tees. And so I want to talk a bit about what my experience has been using these for, you know, a good handful of rounds, as well as the pros and the cons. There are definitely some of each. I'll say right off the bat here, the pros far outweigh the cons in my perspective. Okay, so first of all, my experience with these tees. Overall, I love them. I think it's a great solution. It does exactly what I was hoping it would do, which is, number one, clean up on the broken tees strewn about my garage. Number two, not have me go having to find tees all the time, because these tees they bungee right back to you when you hit them, basically. So those two things were the 2 big pain points for me, and this has solved that. Earlier in the video, you saw me put together the number 1 tee, which is this very small one, just for, you know, par 3 iron shots. The number 2 tee, which is the medium one. I use this for my 7 wood and my hybrid off the tee, as well as this is the base for all the other tees. And then the number 8 tee, which is one of the longest driver tees that you can get. And I've been using this number 8 tee for every drive, so it's taken, you know, probably at this point probably 100 pretty high swing speed shots, and you can see it's the top of the cone here on the number 8 is just barely deformed. But the great thing about these tees is that they're rubber, so I can just kind of push it back into shape. But the shaft itself is pretty straight up and down. There's no cracking or anything like that in any of these. Even on this number 1, you know, which is taking a descending blow with an iron, this is probably the 1 tee that gets hit with the club itself, and not just the shaft. And you can see here, it's in pretty good shape. It is a little deformed again. That you can see this isn't a perfect circle. The top is scrunched in, but it's all rubber. Like I said with the 8T, you can deform these and stretch these as you see fit. If this tether point is getting in your way, you can kind of shape it up so that it's no longer in the way. I'm a big fan of these tees, if you haven't noticed. Okay, cons for me of these tees. There are a couple nitpicks. On these, the tees where the bungee attaches to the tee, the tether point often is kind of bent up in the air a little bit. Marginally distracting. I mean, on a scale of 1 to 10, this is like a 0.5. But it is something that I noticed, and as Kevin iterates, that may be something that he's able to solve for in version 3.0 of these tees. The other con, which again, I think you could put this in the minor annoyance category, but it's there, is that these strands, the bungee strands, tend to get almost braided together over a 9-hole round or an 18-hole round. You hit driver, and then you've got a par 3, and you hit that one, and then you've got a 3-wood off the tee. And you kind of do that over and over, and eventually these strands, they don't just become tangled where like they're twisted and you can untwist them, they become braided together. It's not impossible, certainly. I just kind of run my fingers through the strands and kind of work out the kinks and be patient, and eventually they come apart. But this is the sort of thing where that's something you probably need to do, 2 or 3 or 4 times in your 18-hole round of golf in order to make sure the strands don't become super woven together. You can see I've chosen to only have 3 tees connected to this bungee, even though I have the whole gamut of them. One, because this is really all that I've found that I need for my swing and the shots that I like to hit. But number 2, I was concerned about this braiding effect of these bungees. And I do think that if you had 6 tees connected to this bag and you were using them, interchangeably, may become difficult to untangle. I talked to Kevin about this. He mentioned that this is something that he's heard from customers that is an annoyance. He doesn't have a better solution for it other than just, every couple of holes, 3-4 holes, you just kind of run your fingers through to get them untangled. And I have to say that has worked pretty well for me. Again, annoyance scale 1 to 10, where 10 is a deal breaker. I'm gonna call it a 1.5 or a 2. It's annoying. It'd be better if they didn't get tangled, but it's certainly not a deal breaker, and the pros of this thing far outweigh the cons. Last thing I wanted to talk about here in this review of these K2 golf tees is, if I were buying these tees myself with my own money, what would I buy from the K2 website? So as a value shopper, things that are important for me to keep in mind is there a free shipping threshold? I don't want to pay for shipping if I don't have to. I'd rather spend $8 more on product than pay for shipping of $8. And number 2, are there any discount codes available? So free shipping threshold is $60 in the US, $100 around the world. Right away I know I'm gonna be getting to $60. Second thing is discount codes. If you belong to the Simulator Golf Tour and you scroll all the way down to the bottom in the K2 Golf section, it has a special discount code for 20% off. So we can spend $60 to get $75 worth of product, and that's our free shipping threshold. So we're targeting $75 worth of stuff. That's kind of 75 or a little bit over is what I'm shooting for. So the first thing I would buy when I'm shopping for these K2 golf tees is what's called the bundle standard set. It's one each of the 1 through 8 tees. So that's 8 tees in total, 1 through 8. It comes with 6 bungees, 6 of these metal bungee tethers, and 1 sandbag. That's going to be almost everything you need. And with how durable I found these tees to be, it may be everything you need for a very long time. So that's $70. It's actually 10% off if you buy the bundle, so it's $63. So we're looking for $12 more to get to our $75. So the great thing about that bundle is that these tees each can be extended by a 1/4 of an inch. And the tees themselves are a 1/4 inch apart. But what that means is if you find that you really like, you know, the 7 tee for your driver, you essentially have 2 of them because you have the one labeled 7 and then you have the 6 as well that you can push up to basically be equal to a 7. So you've got some built-in redundancy there. That's something I really like. That's why I would go with this bundle over. There's another bundle that just has, I think, 1, 2, 3, 5, 7 tees, but it's not that much cheaper. I'd go with the slightly larger bundle to get some of that redundancy. Okay, so $63 we've spent so far. We're looking for 12 more bucks to get to that free shipping. So what would I do? I'd buy another sandbag. So you've got 2 sandbags. You could have 3 tees attached to one, 3 tees attached to the other. If you scroll all the way down on the shop, you'll see that they have extra factory second sandbags, bonus sandbags for $12. That's exactly how much we need to spend to get to our 75, to get down to our 60. So that would be my order. The standard bundle set, 1 sandbag, 6 tethers, 1 through 8 tees, and then I'd get an extra sandbag. So you could have 2 sandbags going at the same time, and so hopefully these bungees won't get so tangled. Okay, last thing I wanted to talk about, how would I set up my tee setup? What would I put on sandbag 1 versus sandbag 2? On sandbag 1, this would be kind of my less than driver tee bag. I would do tee number 1 for irons off a par 3, tee number 2, which I use for like a 7-wood in my bag, or a hybrid. And then I would put tee number 3, which is another 1/4 inch taller. It's this 2 with the shaft coming through it like that. Just a short shaft, just another 1/4 inch. But this would be if you've got like a deeper faced 3-wood than my ping very flat 7-wood. This could be for if you use a mini driver, or if you really want to tee up an iron or something, you could use this tee. All right, then my next sandbag would be the driver sandbag, and I would put, it's pretty simple, I'd put 6, 7, 8 on that sandbag. I like those teeing options. I hit up on my driver maybe 2, 3 degrees, and the 8 feels almost a little too tall for me. So eventually I'll probably switch this 8 down to a 7 if I keep my bag set up the way I am now. But I think 6, 7, 8 covers a lot of bases. If you've got buddies over playing in your simulator, 6, 7, 8 probably will cover them. Kevin does sell a 9 and a 10 tee, which are, you know, even a 1/4 inch taller, and then another 1/4 inch taller than this 8, which, like I said, is already feels like it's a little too tall for me. If you've got like a long drive guy who's up, you know, 6, 7, 8 degrees on the driver, you might need that 9 or the 10. But that's there on the website if you find that the 8 isn't enough for you. That's what I do. That's what I'd buy. End of the day, would I buy these? Yes, I totally would. The convenience factor of not having to go find your lost tee, clean up your broken tee. Every time you hit, you know, it bounds away and then comes right back to your feet, more or less. Just super convenient. And I think that anyone who has a simulator and the tee thing has bothered you, I would give this a strong look. So, K2 Golf, the system on the tees for your simulator is awesome. Highly recommend to anyone who's looking for some new simulator tees. All right, thanks guys for watching. Appreciate it. We'll be back next time with a review of my Skytrack versus the GC Quad. Thanks so much for watching. As always, if you're liking the content, leave me a like. If you want to subscribe to the channel, I would love it. It's one of my goals this year to get 500 subscribers, so I think we're at 138 or 140 right now. Really appreciate everyone for watching, for liking, for subscribing, for commenting. If you have questions about my experience here with the K2 Golf tees, please leave them down below. I try to answer everything that I get. So, thanks so much for watching again, guys. Really appreciate it. We will see you next time.